Make the ground shake.
What is going on, guys? We got another Madden 17 team ratings prediction video. This week we're going over the AFC South. And as a lot of you know, the AFC South wasn't the greatest of divisions, most competitive last year, so I think their overalls are definitely going to show for it, even though some of these teams are improving. But as always, guys, one of many prediction videos. If you haven't seen the other ones already, go ahead and check them out if you're interested in it. If not, that's fine too. We're going to go ahead here and get started with the team that finished last in the division last year. That is the Tennessee Titans. It was 3-13. There was 72 overall in Madden 16. Had the lowest overall in Madden 16. I don't think they'll see that again. I think they are on the uprising, but as of last year, 30th in total offense, 12th yards allowed per game on defense, but they did give up a massive amount of points on the defensive end. Now, Marcus Mariota had a solid rookie campaign, in my opinion. I mean, he had no help around him. The Titans QB got sacked 54 times. No wide receiver with over 600 receiving yards. I mean, Delaney Walker had 1,000, correct? Yeah, but he's a tight end, not a wide receiver. Let's see, first round draft pick this year, because of all those sacks, they got Jack Conklin. I'm not sure if I said his name right, but offensive tackle, first round pick. I think that's a smart pick. A team needs to go after defensive linemen especially in the draft. A lot of people overlook that and they go for other things, but that is definitely going to help improve that quarterbacking area. Of course, they also brought in Rashard Matthews, DeMarco Murray, Ben Jones for the offensive line. So they brought in a wide receiver that did pretty well last year, brought in a running back that didn't do too well last year, but he has the upside. Of course, they got Derrick Henry, of course, to fall back on. Hopefully, if that doesn't go well, look at that, go, yeah, Mariota, run that football. But anyway, they did let go of a lot of defensive players, but the only one that was probably going to be missed is Zach Brown at linebacker. Jarrell Casey, Orakpo led team in sacks last year. The Titans are a team starting to progress up, I believe. They're going to start with a low overall, but like I said, I do think this team could turn some heads this year and actually put together a solid season. Going 74 overall right now, but I could see them bumping out overall up with some wins here this year. Definitely a team that could play a little bit better. Coming in next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was a 73 overall to start of Madden 16. We're going to give them a 78 overall. That was 5-11. 18th in total offense, 28 points allowed per game, though, on defense. That was 31st in the league. The Jags could be a much improved team this season, though. A lot of people expect it. They added Malik Jackson, Prince Amukamara on defense, both arguably better than anyone else at their respective position that the Jags had last year. So definitely two big upgrades. They added Calvin Beecham, on that offensive line. They needed a little bit of O-line help. They had some great draft picks as well to help that defense, and Miles Jack, Jalen Ramsey. Depends on how quickly these young guys and additions can play as a collective unit, I believe, because they could, turn some heads on that defense with the guys they do have. But as for, the offensive side was actually quite impressive last year. Blake Bortles made a big step from his rookie year. The run game was still in the bottom third of the league, but it is getting a little bit better from, the year before. Hearns Robinson will see a real nice upgrade. I mean, these guys were phenomenal last year. Surprised they just came out of the blue, had great years. With addition, the team could see a nice overall jump because of guys like that. And like I said, because of the additions on the team. So I would say about a 78 overall. I could see them getting into the 80s later in the year if they continue to play well. They was 5-11 last year. They weren't too far off. They just needed some defensive help. It seemed like the offense was starting to turn it around and get a little bit better. So we'll see how the Jaguars season goes this year. Coming in next is the Indianapolis Colts. People might not like this. I can already tell you right now, they're not going to like it, probably that are Colts fans especially. But it was 8-8. It was an 87 overall last year. We're going to give them an 80 overall. Now, one reason I'm not going to give them, we're going to keep them below the Texans is the fact that they closed out Madden 16 with a 74 overall at the end of the year. I know, hate on me. Like I said, main reason I gave it to them is because of that. The Houston AD overalls were different at the end of each year, but 28 total offense last year. Allowed 25.5 points per game. That was best for 25th in the league last year. Did not play well. I get it. They was, no Andrew Luck, but some of the key losses they did have over the offseason, Jarrell Freeman, Kobe Fleener, Dwight Lowery, they did gain Patrick Robinson. Like I said, Luck missed some games. When Luck was there, They were 2-5 with him as a starter. Do not get me wrong, though. Do not get me wrong and get real pissed off at me. I'm not going to sit here and bash on Andrew Luck. He's shown his ability to be a great quarterback, but that contract coming off of that kind of season is a little bit iffy to me. I mean, like I said, they're signing that contract based on his potential, so don't get me wrong. But I mean, he can be a great quarterback. He didn't prove it last year, and if you play like that this year again, this team not going to be, they're going to struggle because that defense struggled as well. Their O-line is highly criticized, but Jack Mewhort, one of only 3 guards not to allow a sack last year. So that's quite an impressive statistic, let's be honest. The D-line was not great, as it was hoped. Mathis Cole played solid, but not as dominant as they once was. Vontae Davis was solid again, but really not as dominant as he was in 2014. He was a 94 overall, highest overall on the team. Can you expect him to stay that high when he allowed 7 TDs this year, which was 5th most in the NFL? I don't know, especially coming off the year before that where he didn't allow any receiving TDs. He went from, phenomenal to, he went down a little bit, kept him out of that elite talk having a year like that. Don't get me wrong, he can still be a great player as well. So, that's why I'm thinking about an 80 overall because, yeah, Andrew Luck can put this team together and make them a real good team, but I think they have to prove it first. So we're going to start them around an 80 overall for this year. Coming in at number 1, obviously, then is the Houston Texans. They was 9-7 last year. We're going to give them an 81 overall, so not much higher than the Colts, of course. But they ended last year with an 88 overall on Madden, which is kind of a surprise to me. There was 19 total offense, allowed 19.6 points per game last year, which is 7th best in the league. They have a solid defense. Their running game was atrocious again last year. They averaged 3.7 yards per carry. And Arian Foster averaged 2.6 yards per carry when he was healthy. They act like he was a difference maker, which he was in the passing game, but really, they were struggling all around on offense last year. So they went out and signed Lamar Miller, who has a lot of potential. But should we only be looking at the running back position, or should we be considering that offensive line? Because clearly they had to have some sort of problem with it. Foster was getting 2.6 yards per carry. I get it. He was 29, 30. But, they lost Jones and Brooks, but they did draft Nick Martin. They signed Jeff Allen. They signed Osweiler, which seems like an expensive contract for a guy with 200 snaps in his career. I mean, come on. Small sample size for, what was he getting, close to $18 million a year? It could be a hit or miss kind of thing for him. It really, it's hard telling. But DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, obviously the 2 elite players on this team, by far the best 2 players, skill-wise on that team. But, they got Jadeveon Clowney as well, so I guess he could come up in that argument. We'll see his overall go up. Obviously, he played a majority of the year compared to the first year in his career where he started out with injury problems, and he was definitely improving and became, one of them great rush stoppers they believe that he can become for that team. So we'll see how that goes out for him. Like I said, we'll give these guys an 81 overall for now. We'll see how the team does. But, like always, guys, I want to hear what you guys' opinions are of what your overalls think for each team should be. Obviously, we usually have different opinions, but, that's because it's opinions. What do you expect? But hopefully you guys like this video. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.